Can I say what I want to say?
You have to ask him.
Okay, listen, seeing all the bull, I'm not talking about this gentrified bull that West Midtown, Old Mid, no, that's West Side. I'm not talking about where you ride down the street and you see old flowers and trees and I'm talking about real gutter. Okay? That's what I don't want to come out here.
Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of Barbershop Talk. Barbershop Talk is a podcast where we go to different barbershops in Georgia and listen to black men talk. For the 4th and 5th episodes, we were at the Quad Barbershop in Mableton, Georgia. The first topic that was discussed was the MARTA transit system.
Now, is it possible to expand the transit system as well? Because we have the MARTA, but the MARTA is pretty much useless unless you're in Atlanta.
You're talking about a new train?
Yeah.
Expanding
well, just MARTA itself. I don't know too much, but we have MARTA as our train system, but it doesn't really expand to anyone else besides inside the line.
One of the things that Georgia lacks, in my opinion, is pre-planning. I lived in D.C. for 11 years, and every time I would go back and visit, the transit map is expanding. You can see this is what we currently have, and this is where we plan to go. That's absent down here. It just is. And so as far as the subway, that's what I call it, the subway system, I have not heard any talk of expanding that at all.
Honestly,
so for the short term, I would be happy with a bus.
I don't think they're going to let MARTA come to Cobb County though.
Well, MARTA's in, are you talking about the buses or the subway station?
The bus, the train.
They're in Cobb County.
I mean, I'm saying like, okay, so what he was saying, like, as far as coming out this way, as a native of Atlanta, I know what old Atlanta was like. Know what the project was like. Know what the poverty-stricken areas was like. Growing up, high school, middle school, elementary school, all of that. And honestly, I've cut in certain areas where it's hood. It's killing, it's shooting, it's gangster. I moved out here to get away from all that. And so to expand the MARTA system out here, no.
Okay, so are you saying you don't want bus service?
No.
Okay, well,
leave them out there where they at. Okay, if I sound like whatever I sound like, it is what it is. I personally don't care. Leave them out there where they at. We out here, leave them out there. Simply because it's peaceful. You see how peaceful it is? You see how we in here right now? We having a nice conversation. I do. I live in a gated community though.
Okay.
Ain't nothing going on. Okay. If something go on, we got security guards.
That might impact the request for food stamps. I'm just telling you.
Oh yeah. I don't. My bad. I live in a poverty-stricken area. Sorry about that. Anyway, no, we'll leave them out there. Cause I mean, it's like be good in here.
No, your concern is valid.
Right.
But that's the fear of a lot of people.
That's the fear of
a lot of people.
The community out here. Because if you expand the bus service, then you're gonna have a certain group of people walking around. Listen, again, like I said, I don't really care.
Everybody to the quad.
Yeah. Listen, man, I'm bougie now. Can't let about all that. Huh? Equality? Man. Boy, you lucky we on camera right now.
Well, let me say this to you. Not every young person, even college students, they can't afford. I got a roommate who lives in an apartment after college. They can't even do that. A lot of college students, high school students, when they reach the age, they can't get a car. And I know folks down here tend to be a little bit spoiled. My first car was a Pinto that I shared with my sister. We paid $350 for it. Yeah. Kids don't want to do that anymore. But at least if they can catch a bus to get to a job.
So let me ask you this.
You know catching a bus.
I did. my first job was in McDonald's, and then I worked at a factory.
Are you serious?
My stepson does, until he got his car in his late 20s.
Until he got his car.
Right, in his late 20s.
When I moved out this way, all my clientele that was in the West End, I lost because I wanted something different. I wanted an environment to where I didn't have to fear for my life. I've seen, I don't know how many people get shot, get killed. We sitting in the barbershop and you hear a crash. Somebody hit a telephone pole because they shooting up heroin because they coming from a certain neighborhood. If somebody's shooting up heroin out here, I ain't seen it. Pretty sure it's drugs everywhere. Okay? But I'm saying that when I pull up here, I don't really worry about it. I feel safe. I don't worry about it. I don't have to come to work and it's like, oh, like I don't have to come in my head on the swivel. I don't have to do that.
Check everything.
I don't have to check everything. When I go to my car at night, I don't have to worry about that. And that's what I'm saying. That's the difference between where we are and where I was.
Yeah, I have to say I completely disagree with your statement. I mean, I know you understand. We have opinions, but the only reason why I would like to advocate for better transportation is because my family live in Conyers, and the biggest issue that we have in Conyers is that there's no development out there. There's no development out there because there's no way to really get out there without a vehicle. And since there's no vehicles, there's no transportation, we don't have businesses flourishing or anything. And so with the lack of people coming to the city, the city can't build up because there's no way to really get in and out. I think, a lot of businesses suffer, which is why everyone wants to have their businesses in Atlanta, because there's no way for their clients to actually come to Conyers. The same way happens, on other areas where there's no transportation. And so that's why I advocate for the train system to expand, just so we can have more businesses in these other areas. I mean, and then additionally, when this happens, more people can move out the city. I mean, people have to live in the city to go to their job because that's where all the jobs are at, which I disagree with. I mean, there's no real jobs in Conyers because no one's going to Conyers, and so that's where I would like to have more people to live in these rural areas and get these people out the city.
Any point you've been in Georgia, have you lived in the inner city?
Yeah, I lived on Campbellton Road for about 5 years. Campbellton Road. Yeah, so yeah.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
When I say Campbellton. Okay. Can I say what I want to say?
You have to ask him.
Okay. Listen, seeing all the bull, you see what I'm saying? Seeing everything, and you know what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about coming from school, catching the bus, and you seeing somebody get killed. You seeing somebody get stabbed. You seeing all this going on. You see what I'm saying? You go to the train station and friends that you got that you go to school with get jumped at the train station. They get beat up. They come to school the next day. Oh man, I got robbed, or I got chased down the street for whatever. I'm not talking about this gentrified bullshit that West Midtown, Old Mid. No, that's West Side. I'm not talking about where you ride down the street and you see old flowers and trees and I'm talking about real gutter. Okay? That's what I don't want to come out here. And bro right here came from the West Side just like I did. I didn't come from another state. I'm Grady Hospital. I was in this when it was a Miss Winners on every corner. I'm talking about like real Atlanta. So I grew up seeing. No, bro, cool. I'm grown. No, these out there where they at.
That's not fair. That's not right.
I don't get respect. These they where they at.
I mean, but you have North Fulton and South Fulton, and the transportation system goes very, very high in North Fulton, and you don't have those issues like that in North Fulton like we have in South Fulton. I mean, there is definitely a wealth gap between South Fulton and North Fulton. But when you say that statement that you don't want the transportation system to come out this way, I mean, when you have North Fulton that has the transportation system out that way, you don't have those type of issues.
We all hear you. We all understand
Okay,
you.
security, safety, whatever you want to call it.
But I honestly think that at some point you have to respect the brother's opinion.
Right. No, I respect his opinion, but when I'm telling you,
because we can't continue, we can't constantly live in fear.
No, I ain't fearful at all.
And
If they
nobody
come,
out here.
it's whatever.
South Cobb has the lowest crime rate in Cobb County.
Say where?
It's a quite. This is South Cobb.
Right.
This is considered South Cobb.
Right.
We have literally no crime out here, so nobody out here wants to see that change.
Do you know why we don't have crime?
But on the other hand, people in this area who live here want to see that transportation. You know, and so, because people have a right to get to work and to get back home without having to drive a car. It's not, and I can't say a right because you don't have a right to public
Right.
transportation.
But do you know why we don't have that much crime?
But a
out
lot
here?
of people that live out here want it.
Listen, again, like I said, when I moved out here, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I moved out here, all my clientele was drug dealers, killers, and real thug people.
You mean when you started working?
When I was in another area,
Okay.
all of the majority of my clientele were people of the black underworld, whatever you want to call it. And I said, I'm moving to Cobb County, bro. We ain't coming out there. So guess what? Again, from Atlanta, the people that's doing the people that's doing the stuff, they're not coming out here because Cobb County has a reputation for, oh, they not playing in Cobb, so we not going out there. You know what Cobb County stands? You know what Cobb stands for? Cobb stands for come on, black boy, and count on being busted.
Sir, I got a question.
No, hold on, I ain't finished. So with that being said, the people that's causing the they not coming out here. So what I'm saying is, listen, mark my word. Public transportation, bring it out here if you want to. I give it 2 years. It's a wrap. It is what it is.
The next subject that came up was marijuana.
So my question is dealing in terms of the cannabis, well, agriculture before I go into cannabis. So with the pot, with the situation with the potholes and fixing the roads, and like I came in listening to the MARTA situation and security. So will the cannabis be legalized anytime soon to where the funds that's coming in, they can basically cover the cost of getting the roads fixed, getting the highway fixed, helping out with the schools, with security or whatever they need? Is that a possibility soon?
There are a lot of people that support it. Right now, there are, I would say, the people in control of the legislature again.
Are you with it?
Huh?
Are you with it?
My dad was a jazz drummer. What do you think? Okay. but the people in control of the legislature, they don't want it. I actually spoke to a senator about this a couple of weeks ago. He's a Republican senator, and he's dead set against it for that very reason, and for the reason that he sees it as a gateway drug. Now, I've been hearing that since the 70s, that it's a gateway drug. To some people, to some people it is, to a lot of people it's not. So I don't agree with that. But right now, it's not going to be legal.
Gateway drugs to me, like going to get a beer and people getting drunk, or going to get a bottle of liquor. You know what I mean? But what? So they just basically saying on those basic tenets.
I don't think
The percentage on alcohol definitely is way higher than people smoking weed.
While I believe it should be legal, there are a lot of people that disagree.
I remember watching it was a series that was on CNN, and it was the particular strand was called Charlotte's Web. Charlotte's Web. I think the young lady had some symptoms. I don't think it was Tourette's or anything, but it was something where the healing that she got from the cannabis was helping her body function properly. I can't remember what was diagnosed or what was wrong. So I know in that state or in that position that she was in, she needed it, right?
My best friend had cancer. I was her caretaker until she died, and she used marijuana to help with the pain. There's no, you don't even have to convince me on that. I've personally dealt with it. There are dispensaries now in Georgia that started a couple of months ago where if you get approved for medical marijuana, you can go get it.
Okay.
That's here now. It's the recreational drug that we're talking about. The recreational.
Oh, the recreational. I got you.
That's where I don't see any movement.
So is it somebody I can talk to about the gateway? It being a gateway drug? Because I don't.
It's you could argue.
I ain't talking about arguing. I'm talking about talking.
But there are studies out there, and to me, it depends on what age you are.
Yeah, I'm not saying like kids in elementary.
Yeah, but it's happening. That's the problem. And the other concern is you don't know what's in it.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just growing some little plant in your backyard anymore. You don't know what's in it.
Yeah.
And that's how you have all these fentanyl deaths, and then the opinion is once you start with that, a lot of kids, especially young people, want to go to the next best thing. Okay, this was good. Now I'm only getting to a certain point. What's the next best thing?
So can I ask you something?
Absolutely.
What's the difference from alcohol and tobacco? Because kids have access to alcohol and tobacco, and also with alcohol and tobacco, they both cause cancer from different levels, from lungs to bladder to anything. When you're smoking weed doesn't cause all of that. Weed actually cure cancer. It cure illness and certain other things. I can understand as far as like you saying that you don't know what's inside of it, but at the same time, when these kids sitting here, all these adjectives and stuff that's all added inside this nicotine, we don't know what's really even causing all these types of cancer. I got somebody right now that's been smoking cigarettes for almost 20-some plus years. They go to the doctor and they find out they got kidney cancer because they come from cigarettes.
She said we gotta get the old people out of office. We gotta get their
Being around when the old people
No,
was there.
listen. That's what she said. She gotta get the old people out of office.
The fact that cigarettes cause cancer and heart disease, that's been known since 1964. There was a medical study. That's not new.
Yes, indeed. Putting fentanyl and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, how we get access to fentanyl? Because you got to work in the medical field to even get fentanyl. So the same way how when Ronald Reagan and them was out here and they brought cocaine over here, they brought it over here. No, they brought it over here for the dispute inside the black communities so that we can sit here and knock each other off.
Fentanyl has always existed. It's a drug for people that have severe pain like cancer. It existed since I was little, the 60s. It existed. It's been very controlled. What comes out in the street is non-controlled fentanyl that's being shipped over from China, and that's why people don't know what's in the pill. You take it, you're gone. All you need is one mistake. You're not getting a second chance. You're gone. And so again, with weed, like I said when I started this conversation, the weed from the 50s and 60s is not the same weed from today.
Then someone asked this.
Is they gonna raise the wages here?
Every year since 2013, Representative Terry Cummings has introduced legislation to increase the minimum wage, and every year it has died in committee. Once again, he does it every year. I signed on to the legislation this year. Since 2013, he's been trying.
And finally, someone had questions about Mableton specifically.
With Mableton becoming a city, do you anticipate that taxes will go up significantly for some of the services or whatever else it brings?
The goal is for taxes not to be increased. The mayor already announced probably about a month and a half ago that there would be no tax increase this year. But if you live in Cobb County, your taxes are going up anyway because the county is increasing taxes. But it's his goal that, and there are cities that have managed to do it. And his goal is to be one of those cities where our taxes do not increase.
How would that occur, though, from a financial perspective? Because if we get certain benefits that cost money,
Mableton is considered a city light. So
What's a
our
city light?
structure, if do you guys know what Peachtree Corners is? Peachtree Corners is a city light model. That means that they took on some of the services away from the county, but not all of them. So what Mableton has done, we're not doing police, we're not doing fire. Those two things alone would raise taxes because you have the cars, the guns, the training, the fire trucks, everything that goes along to those departments. But the Cobb County Police, the Cobb County Sheriff, and the Cobb County Fire Department, they already do an excellent job in this area. So we're not taking on those services. The services that we're taking on is zoning, code enforcement, recreation, parks, and trash. Those are the four areas. Trash. Yeah. So with the zoning and zoning and code enforcement, if you drive down Veterans for obvious reasons, I don't even have to speak. It's just a street of tire shops and things like that. And so they wanted to develop it. And those businesses that are there, they're not going to be run out. So it's not like the city's going to come over and run people out of business. But the people that live here, they want more control over the type of businesses that are going to come in the future and the type of development. Like you have 3 new subdivisions going up just in this, 2 on Mableton Parkway and one down Veterans that just started. If you see all the old homes, the bad dilapidated homes that have been knocked down. And so what we want is, we want growth and development, but we want controlled growth and development. But we already have a pretty big tax base. Six Flags is in Mableton. Six Flags wasn't even included. The income from Six Flags wasn't even included in the feasibility study. And so a part of that money that was going, a big part of that money that was going to Cobb County is coming to Mableton now. And there are some other, big businesses here too, the commercial and industrial businesses that are kind of like on the outer bank. So the mayor and the city council, they have already started to collect some of those franchise fees and some of the fees from other entities. Before we were a city, we were paying franchise fees, but because we weren't a city, it got split up between Atlanta, Smyrna, South Fulton, other cities. So we were always paying it, but it was going to other places. Well, now that money that we were already paying is coming back here. So his goal with the franchise fees, the taxes, the hotel tax, eventually we'll take over the business, permits and things like that, is to keep the income strong enough where we don't have to pay additional taxes. And through careful, planning and support, Peachtree Corners has been able to do that. So they're the model that they're the entity that we're trying to model.
All right, last question from me. Education. Is there anything going to be done to try to improve the level or the grade for the education? Whether it's the middle school and elementary and high school here. I think the elementary schools are, in terms of ranking, is okay, but my understanding as you go up, it's not good in Mapleton. So.
Mapleton has always had a issue, and I have friends that have moved out when their kids get to a certain age because they're concerned about their schooling and they're trying to get to a better district. Even before Mableton became a city, because Mableton's not taking over the school system. That's still under Cobb County. But even before Mableton became a city, have you heard of the Mableton Improvement Coalition? No. The Mableton Improvement Coalition has been in existence here, I would say probably over 20 years since there was no, quote unquote, city. And they have made a lot of inroads with the schools and working with the schools directly and trying to improve them. We also have a very, very involved commissioner now over education. Trey Hutchins we have Trey Hutchins and Becky Saylor. And Trey Hutchins grew up in this area. He never left this, area. And he has been very instrumental in trying to get improvements approved by the board, because nothing happens in Cobb County schools unless it's approved by that school board. The school can't even take a donation without, it has to go to a Cobb entity, then it has to be approved, and then it goes to the school. So he's been working diligently. We have Clay Harmony Leland, which is a new school right on Gordon. It's a brand new school. We have Betty Clay, which reopened, and it was renamed Betty Clay, and it was expanded, and it's now a elementary school along with, there are several elementary schools, but now Betty Gray goes up to the 6th grade, and then they feed into, eventually, the 2 high schools. We have 2 high schools now in Mableton. Pebblebrook, we just went through a multi-million-dollar renovation inside. If you drive down there now, and it's a magnet school, it's an art school, and a lot of money, millions, was invested to expand everything at Pebblebrook because it was overflowing. So I think that's going to help tremendously. South Cobb is being renovated as we speak because that school was starting to kind of, fall apart. That's a high school, but they also have a specific program for kids that are interested in the medical field. And so kids that are interested in the medical field, they try to go there. But the schools here are still Title I schools. I have visited now about 6 of those schools, and the principals are dedicated. Each one of them has a parent-teacher association, because that's where you really start to get benefits, is with active parents. And the schools that are successful in other areas of Cobb County, those parents are extremely engaged. And they pretty much, drive the bus, as you will, on making sure that the school gets certain things and that they supplement those things where the school is, lacking. So that is something here that the schools have struggled with. But I bring up Mableton Improvement Coalition because they've done a lot of work to get into those schools and to work with the principals and to bring community resources to help improve the schools, hence the education. So it's a work in progress, is what I'll say, because anybody that lives here, you know the issue when it comes to school because you see your neighbors move.
Then Representative Cummings offered some final thoughts.
I live here, right here in the community. I have over 90% of the city of Mableton, and the remaining go to other representatives. But if you ever have a problem or a issue or a concern, you can always contact me directly and I will respond.
Yes, she is responsive. I can vouch for it.
This episode of Barbershop Talk was brought to you by Black Voters Matter Fund, which works to increase power in marginalized, predominantly black communities. Thank you for watching.
I'm from Ohio, I'm from Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
And I noticed the difference when I shifted and moved to the South, that the way education is, up there is known to have, when you accomplish education, you get further, because that's where I'm from, that's what helps you move further. So you would think that it would be the same down here, and it's not.
Well, think about it. If you get too smart, you realize what's going on, right?